Welcome back. You're still watching Daybreak, and it's now 23 minutes to 7 o'clock. My name is Sam Gituku, and I want to take a look at some of the stories that are making headlines on different platforms, including the two dailies that you see on the Daily Nation. The main story there is court derails BBI. A five-judge bench has stopped the IEBC from holding a referendum until 7 petitions challenging the process of amending the constitution are determined. And the order, however, does not affect county assemblies and parliament, but their decision to pass the bill could be declared invalid. This is at a time that Siaya County has already endorsed that bill. And of course, there's another story on the Standard, a similar story. BBI blow as court stops referendum over cases, legal challenge. High Court blocks IEBC from conducting a referendum on the BBI constitutional amendment until 7 cases filed before it are heard and determined. So they are very similar stories. Again, another story that is on the Standard is Ruto takes on Uhuru in-house as Tuju strikes, and the DP rallies 139 MPs to influence House business and prioritize pro-hustler nation legislation in a direct challenge to handshake proponents, even as party expels 6 DP-allied lawmakers and convenes Senate PG today. And those 6 senators include 1 Senator Isaac Mwaura and Senator Millicent Omanga, and 4 others who've been expelled, but they have the window of appeal. We don't know whether that will be done. We'll be speaking later on to one Isaac Mwaura on phone to tell us what he plans to do next. But at the same time, I want to introduce the panel that I have in studio. I have Opiyo Wandayi, the Member of Parliament for Gunja constituency. Good morning. And
morning.
Morning,
Sam.
Great. And Tony Watima, who is an independent economist.
Morning.
Maybe one day you'll be an MP. I don't know whether that's a part of your dreams.
Not really.
All right.
We can nominate him.
All right.
Yeah, under ODM. Yeah.
I don't know whether he's interested in joining the ODM party, but also
no,
politics.
for now I'm an economist, so that's the terrain I tend to remain to.
You know, ODM is the home of all people, including economists.
Oh, but there's another home that we are seeing coming up, and 139 members of parliament were meeting yesterday. Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah, the Member of Parliament for Kikuyu constituency. Karibu sana to the show.
Asante.
Great, and
but I can tell you, Waitima, no economist would fit in ODM.
Why so?
The ODM has nothing to do with economics. Politics.
Is that so?
Just politics.
Just
for
politics.
the sake of politics and power.
Okay, he doesn't want to challenge that, so I don't know whether it's true or it's...
Well, you know,
he knows it. He knows
you don't argue with the facts. The fact is that ODM is the most progressive party, not only in Kenya, but in the region.
Okay, yeah. All right. I want us to start by looking at, you see that story about court derailing BBI. It's on the front page of the Daily Nation, but also on the Standard. I mean, is this a blow? It's just an inconvenience that your team, because Opiyo Wandayi, your team has been very upbeat about BBI, including yesterday there was a meeting in Nyanza. So are you taking this as a blow, or is it just an inconvenience?
Well, we can't view this as any blow. Because, you know, all of us who are in ODM and who are not also in ODM but support the BBI process are Democrats who believe in the rule of law. Mm-hmm. Yes, and you know, Sam, the 2010 Constitution gave Kenyans a lot of rights, including rights to petition courts, to intervene on matters of public interest. Mm-hmm. Yes, I suppose this is what has happened, even though we know that they're busybodies who are being financed and supported.
Financed by who?
I don't want to get into the merits of these matters in court, as you know. I'm a budding lawyer these days. But then the fact of the matter is that this is a small setback. It does not derail the process entirely. We hope that in the fullness of time, the courts will look at the cases that are before it and make a determination, which determination we believe will give us the go-ahead, the green light, to proceed with the BBI process. Mm-hmm. We must also note that the court hasn't stopped the process, really. It has only temporarily asked the IBC not to proceed to the referendum. But the other processes which are critical, including the county assembly processes in terms of passing the bill, the National Assembly and the Senate, are all going to go on.
But
yes.
Don't you think this is going to delay? Because I remember the proponents of BBI were targeting that by mid this year they should have gone ahead to conduct the referendum.
I have seen the court has indicated that it wants to hear these cases at a go, or around 10th or so of March, mm-hmm. Okay, continuously. And the court has also consolidated them meaning that it will give one ruling encompassing all the issues that have been canvassed by these parties. That would mean, therefore, that by the time the county assemblies are through with approving this bill, and we are sure, Sam, that come mid-March, latest mid-March, really, we shall have had not less than 35 county assemblies approving the BBI bill. So it just coincides with the timing of the termination of this matter in court, and we strongly believe that there's no reason whatsoever why any court should, in the final analysis, want to stop the referendum. Yes, but when and if a contrary decision is arrived at, we shall cross that bridge once we get there. Yeah.
All right. What do you think, Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah? Is it what the country needs, or what are you thinking about this action by the courts?
You know, I usually have very limited views on BBI because for me it's a non-issue, it's not a priority for this country. And maybe my view will not just be will not be on BBI but on the court decision. Probably it's a good thing for Kenya. I hope in the fullness of time that the court may find the entire process to be flawed, because it's a process that, as you all know, is not a process for Kenyans. It's a process that benefits just a very few of us in the political class. And therefore, if really constitutional changes are to benefit the people, they should be people-driven. And I think this is one judiciary that told us in 2017 that the result is as good as the process. If you look at the process like where Opio and I comes from in Siaya, if that is what he's talking about, quick passage of the BBI referendum bill in the counties, you're passing a referendum bill in a county assembly without even public participation and all that. And I think the court was right.
They said they did it in a day.
They are cautioning even the county assemblies and even the National Assembly to be cautious on the process. And I think that caution is very timely, having seen what happened in Siaya. Public participation is not something that ought to be done so that it is seen to be done. It ought to be real public participation. And I think Opio and I will agree with me, the way we do it in the National Assembly. You don't do public participation. I saw last year, I think it was the National Aviation Bill, being delayed for almost a month because the public participation that had been done by the National Assembly was viewed to have been inadequate. Therefore, I think it's good to be cautious, but let us not spend a lot of time on useless things for this country.
You call them useless?
But it's important
They're
that
useless. I thought you called me here to discuss the economy.
Just hold on.
We actually boring my team.
BBI is...
Honorable Opio, just hold on. We are reviewing what is in the paper, so we will do that, and then we'll dive into the cost of BBI, of course, the impact it would have if it were to come into effect. But Tony, what are your thoughts? Is it such a useless process, and how are you reconciling with this decision by the courts that now they are sort of stopping IEBC from conducting this referendum should that process get to that?
So let me stick to what the court and the ruling that was made.
Okay.
I think it was timely because we need to have a process that is carries everyone. So we have that there were a number of petitions in court, and then at the same time you have county assemblies trying to pass the BBI bill. And so it creates a friction because one of the issues that in courts that are petitioned is how the process that counties will handle the BBI bill within the counties. So we expected that we needed such a ruling so that we have a proper process that a court can make a determination on how we move forward with the bill, and then we move forward to the next stage. I think it was timely for that because it sets stage that we have one stage that we need to pass first, then we move to the next. Yes.
Honorable Opio, you wanted to say something?
There's only one issue I wanted to respond to, because it is important that I do so, with regard to the public participation matter. You know, I also come from Siaya County, and it is a fact that the Siaya County Assembly, through its speaker, did issue a notice for public participation, 7-day notice, in 2 national dailies, Standard and The Nation. And it's also true that on the day of public participation, the MCAs were divided into all the wards. And public participation happened on a day across all the 30 wards of Siaya County, being guided by the MCS. And again, my friend Kimani, of course, who is a very good friend of mine, knows that really there's no marking scheme for public participation. Even under the law, yes, it is common sense. Really. In fact, by mere calling a public rally and people ventilating on a matter, it can easily qualify as public participation. But that is not for today, really. But also, other point I need to
How many MCAs do you have in Siaya?
We have 30 wards,
So
therefore 30 MCAs, and another lot which is nominated, about 18 or so, about 48 MCAs.
I'm just wondering what sort of efficiency would you have for 48 MCAs to split into groups, I don't know of how many, to go into 30 wards?
We are very efficient people, you know.
In a day?
In a day. And it was very, very well managed. And I can tell you, the kind of discussions that went on, the whole day from 8 up to 5 was more than what you would want to get for a public participation process here.
Anyway.
Gituku, let me just interject on that because my good colleague of Pio, and he's my very good friend. We served with him from the 11th Parliament. And as much as no marking scheme, there is precedence that has already been set in parliamentary procedures. And he knows it. I don't know why he's denying the obvious. You must even give the public notice, adequate notice, and specify where the public participation meetings will be. Therefore, you can't just call a rally or attend a funeral somewhere and say we had public participation in a funeral or some wedding or some dowry negotiation somewhere. Public participation ought to be public participation that follows due process. And I'm just, my brother, I'm only cautioning you just like the courts are cautioning you. Stop this rush.
Okay.
It's going to hurt you.
Oh, all right. Of course, the county assemblies have up to 90 days, which is 3 months, to consider the bill and decide whether to endorse it or to reject it so that it can be transmitted to the next level, which is Parliament. And Parliament, should there be at least 24 counties agreeing with it, then they will be in a position to debate it. But should there not be at least 24, then the process dies there and there will never be a need to conduct a referendum on that process. I want us to make progress and look at another story that broke towards the end of the day yesterday, and that is Jubilee expelling what the Daily Nation has called the rebels. The purge against MPs allied to DP Ruto continued after the party expelled 6 nominated senators, including one Isaac Mora and Millicent Omanga. Of course, one might ask who are the other senators. I just want to give you the list right away. And you're talking about, well, again, Isaac Mora, Mary Seneta, Naomi Wako, Victor Prengei, Falhada Iman, and Millicent Omanga. And later today, there's supposed to be a parliamentary group meeting of the Jubilee senators to decide on other matters. There's an invite that was made by Senator Farhia, who is the Deputy Minority Whip. I'm just wondering, Deputy Majority Whip, I'm just wondering what's happening to the Majority Whip, Irungu Kangata. He is your friend. What's happening and how are you receiving this news of the expulsion of 6 senators?
Irungu Kangata is my constituent. He actually lives in my constituency. For not just a friend, he's my constituent. You asking what is happening to him?
Yes, because I saw an invite to the parliamentary group meeting signed by his deputy.
What does that tell you, Gituku? It tells you probably the kichinjio today is for to chinja.
You said that, why are you laughing?
Because it's laughable, Gituku, because Jubilee has just become a laughing stock, honestly. You're in a political party that cannot stomach any manner of dissent. You are in a party that cannot handle the truth as it is. Therefore, somebody told me last night, ile kichinjio ya Kasarani imerudi KICC. So probably the slaughterhouse today is for Irungu Kangata. You remember the last time when Murkomen and Susan Kihika and the others were being removed. Susan Kihika was the whip. It is Irungu Kangata who sent out the invitation. Therefore, if today Farhia is the one sending out the invitation, it tells you then that the slaughterhouse today is to slaughter Irungu Kangata, which is okay. You can throw out everybody you want to throw out of the party. But just to remind my good old party Jubilee that KANU was in this phase at some point in life. KANU had a phase where it had the Okiki-Amayo disciplinary committee. And I reminded them at the disciplinary committee last week when I represented Isaac Mwaura as a witness, key witness to the accused. And I cautioned them.
Your testimony didn't really persuade them.
Fell short.
It was not about the testimony. It was not even about what he was accused of. And we told them there that we had no faith in that process. And I cautioned them. I told them, for your own sake, as a political party and as a committee, please don't make yourself to look like a photocopy of the Okiki-Amayo Kanu disciplinary committee. But clearly it looks like. We told them, we know this is a predetermined process. The result is known. And we have indicated, as we said in that disciplinary committee, the vice chair had said it, the chair who was a complainant had said it publicly, that Isaac Mwaura was to be expelled. It's unfortunate that all the other 5 senators are being expelled together with Isaac Mwaura, because the real target this time was Isaac Mwaura. Remember Millie Omanga, Mary Senator, and all the other 3 senators had been to that disciplinary committee sometime last year.
It was in May.
Not for crimes against humanity, by the way. They were there because they had refused to sign something to do with the removal of Murkomen and Susan Kihika. Isaac this time is not being accused of refusing to sign the removal of his best man, and the man he was his best man in his wedding, Irungu Kangata. He's being removed because apparently he wore a UDA cap, kept in Msambweni, and he said certain things in Msambweni that people are not happy about. But you just have to be alive.
Which people?
He's accused that he said something about the president and the family, something they viewed to have been unpalatable to them. But really what he said is he stated a statement of fact in history, speaking about the families that have been in governance in this country. And not really anything that you would view to have been targeted at the president as a person or to have been disrespectful in any way. It's just anything anyone would say, and therefore let's leave it at that. There is a process to follow that. I am hopeful that the political parties tribunal will be able to listen and probably offer a more reasoned judgment than the disciplinary committee and the self-appointed NMC in Jubilee.
Self-appointed, you say. We had asked Senator Mwaura to speak to us about this matter, but he says that he doesn't feel comfortable talking about it at the moment. We'll wait for the next process to follow. But Honorable Pio Wandai, of course, previously we have seen action taken by your party, ODM, de-whipping some of the members, but also expelling some. But that never really succeeded. How are you taking this decision by the Jubilee Party, and is it the right thing to do when there are different voices, or is it alternative voices within a party?
Well, ordinarily, I wouldn't have wished to get involved in the internal affairs of Jubilee. But then, of course, as somebody who follows politics generally, what is happening in Jubilee is not really strange. In my view, and my friend Kichungwa will agree with me, that we are dwelling on the symptoms. The issue in Jubilee is that the deputy party leader is essentially leading a faction of the party. Is essentially leading a rebellious grouping within the party. But the problem again is that this rebellion is not being taken to the logical conclusion. And what I mean here is...
What is the logical conclusion?
What I mean here is, in mature democracies, okay, if you disagree fundamentally with your party leader, and this is what's happening in Jubilee. All these members you are mentioning their names, they're my friends, by the way, Mwaura and the rest, okay, have eventually transferred their allegiance from their party leader, who is the president, to the deputy president, who is leading a splinter group in the party. That's my reading of the situation. And you must also understand, Sam, in ODM, I'm the Secretary for Political Affairs, so I follow and analyze this development very, very keenly, very, very keenly. Yes. But the problem is that the leader of this rebellion in Jubilee, that is the deputy president, has failed to understand that in politics, you never have your cake and eat it. Yes, why do I say so? You cannot rebel against a party leader who is your party leader, and hope that will continue in the same party. What should have happened? And this was actually done earlier by my party leader, Raila Odinga, when he was in Ford, Kenya, is that if you disagree fundamentally with the policies, with the direction your party has taken, the way they are making us believe, then the best thing is to walk out. Walk out. Because I saw a very big number of MPs yesterday. They are here. And I know them, very many, really. They form a very big percentage of the Jubilee membership. Why can't you gather the courage, yes, to walk out of Jubilee and form a party or join a party that you believe in? Yes, that is what happens in mature democracies. And then, therefore, we see who then calls the shots in the public.
If you're insinuating the deputy president to walk out, then it would mean he ceases being deputy president.
Exactly. You resign. That is what Jaramogi Oginga Odinga did in 1966. That's what Raila Odinga did in 1996 when he left for Kenya and resigned from his seat as MP for Langata. You can't have measures in this. This is a battle. Yes. And you've shown the enemy, in quotes, yes, the knife. So you can't pretend that you're going to continue to operate as usual. Okay. And so I expect to see more and more of these moves by Jubilee, of expulsions and what have you.
Okay. Tony, you're not a politician, but at least you're a Kenyan. You're able to observe all this. And what does this tell you for an administration that has about 17 months to the end, and you see them in turmoil in the way they are today?
Okay. Yes, I'm not a political analyst or a politician, and I tend to avoid talking about politics. But my comment will be that that is politics, and politics happens everywhere. Even in US, you have such kind of issues. Ideology differs, people differ on political issues and stands, and so it's something that is expected everywhere. So the politicians can do their politics on their own.
Okay, all right. Kibari, so he says that in 1966, Jaramogi left the ruling party. 1996, Raila Odinga left Ford, Kenya. We're in 2021.
Yes.
Will the DP leave Jubilee?
So you would expect William Ruto to behave like the son of Jaramogi Odinga because Jaramogi Odinga behaved in a certain way? Definitely not. William Ruto is not a son of Jaramogi Odinga. He does not subscribe to a political party like ODM, where is only one way or the highway. Jubilee, rather, I was actually looking at the values of Jubilee in the Constitution. And really, if you look at the values that we had as a political party, I have got to question myself whether we still uphold these values. When you talk about the promotion of unity, cohesion, and respect for the diversity of the people of Kenya, are we really respecting some of those things? Last week, because Opio and I spoke about cohesion, not about cohesion, about rebellion. When I represented Isaac Mwaura at the Jubilee Parliamentary Disciplinary Committee, one of the board members, one of the committee members asked me to draw a line between rebellion and dissent or differing views. And I drew reference to him to the party constitution and asked him, because he had read out to me the roles and functions of the party leader. And in our constitution, Article 9, sub-article 1(4), it says that the party leader offers leadership, political direction, and guidance to the party at all times in the discharge of its mandate. 5 says that he promotes political harmony and shall have overall authority over other officials and members of the party. And I asked the committee member, if I tell you today here, in my view, in my opinion, the party leader has failed to promote political harmony, has failed to offer political direction, am I being rebellious? And he said, no, you're not. Then I told him that is a thin line between rebellion and having an opinion in the party. And if we have a party that had values of promoting even democracy and democratic engagement, that promotes the Bill of Rights, that you have the right to and freedom of association and assembly anywhere and with anybody, why would you be punishing people because they have dissented with you or they have different opinions from what you have? Why don't you listen to what the people... And I was challenging the disciplinary committee. Probably you should be thanking Isaac Mwaura that he's telling you certain truths. When he tells you that this party is moribund and dead, it is true. its organs are moribund and dead. When the Constitution says that the party leader convenes parliamentary group caucuses, and we tell you, as party members who belong to one of the caucuses, the parliamentary group caucus, that the only time this party calls parliamentary caucuses or parliamentary group meetings, unlike ODM that will call to consult on issues, we never consult on any issue. We only call parliamentary group meetings when we are ejecting people from the party leadership positions, like is happening with the Senate PG today. The last time we were in a PG was when they were ejecting Duale and Washiali and the others. Probably the next time we are called for a PG is when they want again to eject somebody else.
But Honorable Kimani, when it comes to expressing an alternative opinion, how much space do you have as a nominated senator or member of parliament or even MCA?
You have space, because once you are nominated as an MP or an MCA or a senator, you are nominated by that political party, one, because that party identified a certain skill or talent in you, and that skill or talent that you have would offer value to the party. Two, you are not just picked from the streets. These are people. Isaac Mwaura is somebody I know from my own county. I know the effort and the work he put in for the party. He's somebody we fished from Opio and I in ODM. Opio and I will tell you, he was a good resource in ODM. He's still a good resource in Jubilee. Therefore, we should not look at these positions as if they are tokens that are issued out to people out of just tokenism or doing somebody a favor. Two, it is not the political party, Gituku. There are very many political parties in this country, but it is not all of them that offer the opportunity to nominate members. Political parties are afforded the opportunity to nominate members because of the work and effort put by members of the party to ensure that that political party garners adequate seats in Parliament, in the county assemblies, in Senate, to be able to even get to the threshold where they can nominate members. Therefore, why not for my seat in Kikuyu, and the seat of another person in Thika, seat of another person in Kakamega, and a seat of another person who won a seat from ODM in Bungoma. And Jubilee was able to garner over 176 seats. Close to 176 seats together with the affiliate parties, then we got an opportunity to nominate members. Therefore, even when you are making such decisions, you ought to involve organs of the party, including the parliamentary group. In fact, it ought to go to the extent where even the NDC of the party and the NGC is consulted and arrives at a decision on whether to expel a member of parliament. But anyway, we are living in very dictatorial and tyrannical times in Jubilee, and probably those are issues that Kenyans are watching. And as members of Jubilee, we continue to point them out respectfully. We tell our party leader and our party leadership that the road we are taking is the same road KANU took. And KANU ended up being a very dead party at the end of the day because of not listening to dissent, being very, very harsh with people who tell you the truth.
Okay. I wish you had more time to...
Tolerance is good. Get to go in politics. Very good.
I wish you had more time to focus on what that meeting with the Deputy President and the number is put at 139 members of Parliament, what it entailed. But I see you very... limiting your comments to Senator Mwaura. Just a reminder here that there are 5 other senators who were expelled from the Jubilee Party. That is Mary Senator, Naomi Wako, Victor Prengei, Falhada Iman, and Millicent Omanga. They still have the... Sorry,
I limited that because, as I told you, I was a star witness for Isaac Mwaura. And the others, you know, Kenyans had even forgotten that these others had been called to that disciplinary committee. It's only that the judgment is being given now because they didn't want to be seen like they are giving judgment on the Isaac Mwaura case and had forgotten about the other 5. Okay. Otherwise, the other 5 are just victims of
so
the
as
Isaac
a star
Mwaura
witness,
intolerance.
Do you know if Isaac Mwaura is going to appeal this decision?
Definitely, even the party did indicate that you have an opportunity to appeal, and it is only right and fitting that the 6 senators do appeal because it is a right within their constitutional rights. And
can he attend the parliamentary group meeting today?
Well, yes, he should.
Despite
in fact,
the fact that the expulsion is immediate?
If I was him, I would be there in the black and yellow attire today.
Why black and yellow?
Because that is, if you look at many of Mwaura's photos, he's in black and yellow.
a short break here on Daybreak. When we come back, we dive into the conversation around the BBI and the economy. We are looking at what would an enacted BBI-sponsored constitutional amendment bill impact on the country's economy, where we as a country at a time that we know that 1.76 trillion shillings is the targeted or projected ordinary revenue to be collected in the next financial year, but also 35% could be required to go to the counties should BBI come to effect. We'll talk about that after the break, but you can text us your views on 22422 or tweet us at Citizen TV Kenya at Sam Gituku. The hashtag to use is Daybreak. Stay tuned.